Welcome to my channel. I'm Deborah, a 60 plus first time gardener, and I garden in California in Zone 9B. In today's video, I'm planning up some hanging baskets, but with considerations for senior gardeners in mind. Typically, it's best for seniors to avoid hanging baskets. They can be higher maintenance since they dry out quickly and require frequent fertilizing and can be difficult for you to reach them. But I love hanging baskets because of their aesthetics. I love that they give you this vertical interest. They don't take up any room in your garden beds. So with that, I have found some tips and some tricks to downplay those negatives for seniors planting hanging baskets. And I'm going to share with you today those tips. But first, before we get started, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps out my small channel. But if you're already a member, glad you're here. Let's get started. This is a spearmint plant that I put in this basket about a month ago. It died on me. Every gardener, new or old, will have some failures. Of my front garden bed, because since planting it in the ground, I learned that was a definite no-no because it's invasive. When I bought it, the tag said it was fast-growing, fragrant, and evergreen. Well, it was fast-growing, but that was an understatement. This plant was starting to take over my flower bed. I learned that all mint varieties have underground rhizomes and runners that can quickly choke out neighboring plants or take over your entire yard. This plant was popping up several feet from where I originally planted it, so it had to go. I carefully dug it up, traced his rhizomes, gently pulled those up so as not to break them off into pieces. And then I cleared those away. And unfortunately, though, I had to repeat that whole process again about a week later from that. But fingers crossed, that was the last of it. And if not, no issues. I'll be repeating that process again and again until it's completely out of my garden. But anything, big tip, don't put mint in your ground. Put mint only in containers. So as I'm getting the soil together here, I'm adding some biotone, and I'll also add some more fresh raised potting soil as well. Here I'm separating out the vinca. I'm gonna sort of section it where I think I wanna actually insert it into the pot so that it's evenly spreaded and has a pretty aesthetic look. The plastic bottle is for allowing me to do deep watering. So I've got this plastic bottle that I've punctured some holes throughout so water could leak out of it. I will bury it into the hanging basket so that it's more than halfway in. Then when I'm going to water, I can actually just remove the cap off of the bottle, put the water into the bottle, and then it will disperse out of those pre-drilled holes that I put into my plant, which makes my watering easier. since I mentioned about the watering bottle, I want to share a really important note for when you're watering your hanging baskets. You don't want to water until the water is like just flushing out of the bottom. I've learned that's a no-no. It just flushes out the nutrients faster, which could lead to root rot, so your plant will eventually fail. You want to water just enough for a 24-hour period. You know, you want to water in the morning, just until the basket feels a little heavy, and the soil is saturated all throughout. And you want to fertilize, once a week. I use a water soluble fertilizer. As a senior gardener, you want to kind of keep your gardening task and gardening work down to like 30-minute intervals. I try to make sure that I'm just doing 30 minutes a day, max an hour a day. So, the tips I'm sharing here about the hanging baskets, the watering, and also the game changer, which I'll highlight more later, will kind of help keep you within that 30-minute interval window. Okay, let me get this going a little bit faster so I can get us to the next set of steps. So we've got all our pots planted up, and next I want to share some watering tips. Generally, you want to water or let the plant tell you when it needs water. You don't want to water so much that it's running out of the bottom. I've learned that that's a no-no because what that's doing is flushing out all of the nutrients. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you water deeply and enough for a 24-hour period. So you're not trying to water so much that it's gonna like be saturated. But if that happens, it's not a big deal. It's okay. What I have here, as you noticed earlier, was this bottle. And this bottle, I have punctured holes into it. And it helps me do is get deep watering going. So I just add the water to the bottle, and I don't have to worry that the deep watering is happening because as the bottle fills, I know it's going to smooth out into the pot. But I have a better actual way of watering in that I've mentioned earlier, the game changer is I have put these pots on retractable hangers. So if I lift the pot up, it can come down to my level. I've got a great view. I can see what I'm doing. And I really won't need this any longer. So I can take this out. Don't waste that water. And I can do my watering very simple. So this is the game changer. You are watering without reaching up. You can see when you're done. Very simple. Just lift your pot up so that it engages the top. Let it go. And there you have it. Tips for potting up hanging plant baskets for seniors are: one, you want to pick a plant that's drought tolerant. Two, you want to do a monocultural species. You don't want to have a variety of different plants. You want to just have just the one species, one culture, so that the watering needs are the exact same and you don't have to worry about overwatering, underwatering. Then you want to make sure that you have a big enough pot. This is a 10-inch, but I could have went a little bit bigger. So the bigger, the better. And then you want to use the plastic watering bottle if you don't use the retractable hangers. I find the retractable hangers are a game changer, and that's what I'm exclusively using on all my hanging baskets. And then finally, you want to water just enough to saturate the soil without it running through. But if it does run through, that's okay. Not an end of all. And lastly, you want to enjoy your plant. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. If you found the contents were enjoyable and helpful, please click the like button. And I hope to see you my next video. And I hope all your garden dreams come true.